So you may have seen over the past couple weeks that there's been a lot of UAP, UFO, alien disclosure. Okay, now if you're somebody like me who's a bit of I'm a nerd when it comes to this stuff. It's borderline obsessive, to be honest with you. It's kind of a problem. But I've been interested in this topic for years and years and years and years, right? I wasn't one of these people that was getting my hopes up thinking they were going to drop some crazy footage of them like shooting an alien in the forehead, like them operating on an alien. Like, I didn't expect them to release any crazy footage, okay? And I was right. They didn't. They haven't. All of the footage that they've released has been out for years. And most people that are nerds about the topic like me have already seen all the stuff that they've released, okay? But I mean, I guess it's good. Like, if you're a normal person and you're not obsessed with this stuff, I say normal person. I feel like everybody's slightly kind of interested in this topic, so yeah. But look, I feel like it's a good thing for people that aren't really into this topic, because now, like, the fact that it's being released by the government, or like the government, I guess, it's a good thing, because people are like, oh, maybe this shit is real, and then more and more people are getting into it. Whatever the motive is behind that, I don't know. That's a whole other rabbit hole to go down as to why they're releasing this shit. But I'm not going to get into that because I'll be here for too long, right? Point is, they've been releasing these clips for the past couple weeks, and a lot of them, okay, as I said, I've seen all of them before, but a lot of them are the legit, well, I think, are the legit UAP sightings and the most credible, right? The ones that are a bit like the Tic Tac clip, I'll play them on the screen. The ones where they're moving across mostly oceans, that's kind of a theme. Maybe that's just because they're easier to see if it's across an ocean. Point is, the ones that are moving across oceans at insane speeds are the ones that, to me, are the most credible. And they have released quite a few of those. Because the thing is, those ones you can't even play off. Like, those ones, you can't even say, oh, maybe it's a balloon, maybe it's some kind of glitch, maybe it was an insect in front of the camera. Like, you can't play those clips off because of the speed that they're moving. I don't give a fuck what you try and say. You can't, like, nobody has come out with a theory that disproves or discredits these clips because they can't, right? Now, I'm not saying, yeah, these guys, they're aliens. They're just aliens cruising around in a little orb or whatever, right? These might full well be our own technology. And it's quite likely that that is the case, right? So I'm not making assumptions as to what it is, whether it's some kind of plasma technology. I don't know, right? Again, that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other rabbit hole to go down, right? Point is, they seem credible to me and to a lot of other people. Problem is, they've also released in this whole disclosure campaign a couple clips that just look like complete shit. Like, they just look like blatantly obvious balloons. And I don't even mean like these spy balloons, the ones like that, you remember the Chinese one that they blasted out of the sky? Like, that was a legit spy balloon because it was massive. And I think it had like Chinese writing on. Whether or not that was real, I don't know, right? Point is, that looked legit. But these clips that they've disclosed, they look like regular fucking party balloons. They don't even look like anything crazy. They look like regular balloons that some little kid has probably let go and has been crying about for about an hour. You know, like those type of balloons. So I'll play the clip here. Bear in mind, by the way, and we're going to get into it, this is the one that they blasted out of the sky. They spent like 50K on a missile to blow this fucker out of the sky. Meanwhile, it literally looks, as I said, like a party balloon. So, I mean, here's the clip. So there you have it. They blasted out the sky. They shot like a 50K plus missile at a balloon that quite clearly resembles just a regular party balloon. Okay. Now again, they thought it was probably a spy balloon, but even then, I don't particularly buy that, because what spy balloon has a dangly string for little kids to hold? That's the first clip. Okay, now a guy came out. Let me just remember his name. Sean Kirkpatrick, right? This guy came out. I don't know where he was talking, but he came out. He did a little talk, and he confirms that this video shows the military blasting a small balloon with a $500,000 missile. I said 50K. What the fuck do I know? I feel like that's maybe a bit of an exaggeration. I don't think like, I mean, maybe they would. I don't know. I just feel like $500,000. That's slightly exaggerated. Point is, they shot a very, very expensive missile at a balloon for no real reason, because I don't know about you, but that didn't look like a particularly big of a threat. It didn't to me, at least. So anyway, this guy, Sean Kirkpatrick, he came out. He's claiming the whole thing is bullshit. He's claiming that this actually was just a regular birthday balloon. So here's the clip.
You know what we shot down? Balloons. And the worst one, absolute worst one, was they shot down a balloon that had a tethered package on the bottom that had a transponder on it that was built, flown, and operated by a Boy Scout group that had circumnavigated the globe 8 times before we shot it down with a $500,000 missile. There was another balloon that was shot down, and the pilot described it as having potential stealth-like capabilities, and that they couldn't get a good lock on it. And the reason they couldn't do that is because it was a star-shaped Mylar balloon from Walmart. It said happy birthday on the side. We got a real nice close-up in the AIM missile before it blew up, right?
All right, so there you have Sean Kirkpatrick saying that it was just a party balloon, which is exactly what it looks like. And he was saying that they overreact. They say these things are aliens. They say these things are particular alien crafts or whatever the fuck. And they blast them out the sky regularly. Okay, now, I don't know. Here's the thing. This is where it gets a little bit weird, because that clip did look like bullshit. But is this guy coming out to just kind of discredit all of the other ones? If that makes sense. Like, is this guy coming out saying, yeah, we do this all the time, meaning, yeah, don't trust any of the clips that are being released? I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching too much into that. But that's just something to be aware of, right? Don't just throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say, right? Because as I said, the ones where the crafts are moving over the water, they look legit. Okay, there are plenty of other clips, plenty of other stories that seem very legit. So don't just think, all right, well, because they shot one balloon out of the sky, that they're all balloons. Okay. However, saying that, this is the second clip. Okay. Now this clip is the one that seems, to be fair, they seem on the same level of bullshit, to be fair, right? But this clip here, at first glance, this seems kind of legit. You think, what the fuck is that in the sky? What a weird shape. Look how it's reflecting. That looks metallic. And then, like, as well, don't forget, like, people that are recording this on the ground, it's very hard to tell how fast something is moving if you're on ground level and it's, you know, thousands of meters, hundreds of meters, whatever in the sky. Okay, it'd be like being on a plane. If you're on a plane, you're moving really fast. If you're on the ground, that shit looks like it's moving slow, right? So at first glance, this clip, it seems pretty legit. It seems pretty weird, right? But then you zoom in a little bit. You pay closer attention to it, and you start noticing little things about it that seem off. And you think, wait, hold on, this looks a little bit human-like. Like, is that an arm hanging off of it? Why does it look like some kind of statue? And you think, wait, why is it kind of moving weird? Why is it rotating kind of weirdly? And why does it kind of look like it's floating? Why does it look really light? And then you zoom in some more and you say, wait, hold on. This looks exactly like a giant stormtrooper balloon that you can buy from party stores. Look, maybe I'm reaching. Maybe it is some kind of UAP, alien, whatever, right? Maybe it is maybe that is the case. But to me, that looks like a fucking stormtrooper balloon. I mean, it just does. Now, again, you could say maybe it's, I don't know. I don't know what you could say to try and play this off, but to me, that looks exactly like what that is. Unless it's some kind of alien spacecraft designed to look like a stormtrooper balloon. But I mean, that's just getting ridiculous. Let's be real, right? It clearly looks like a stormtrooper balloon. This is the second clip now that they've released, which is quite clearly showing some bullshit balloon that's kind of discrediting all of the other real footage that they're putting out. Okay, now I'm not going to ramble on too much. I'm not going to go full conspiracy mode, right? But it's just a little bit weird that as well as releasing some clips that look legit, there's also a couple clips that are quite clearly bullshit, but they decided to release them anyway. So I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know. Maybe they're releasing these clips because the people involved want to be known as the first people who released all of this footage, just as like a bragging rights thing, which could be the case, which could be why they're releasing some of these clips that look like bullshit, right? Maybe that is the case, okay? Or maybe the people that are really involved with the UFOs, the UAPs, whatever the fuck, maybe they're just feeding the government these bullshit videos to first of all just keep people occupied. Like, yeah, hold this video, it's bullshit, what the fuck, we don't care, right? Maybe that's the case, just to keep people occupied. Or maybe they're purposely releasing these to discredit the people releasing the footage. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if I come to you and I say, hey, look, I've got 5 videos showing aliens and 2 of them are complete bullshit, it kind of discredits the other 3, you know? It's a bit like trying to sell, I don't know, it's a bit like trying to sell a Pokemon card, but you've also sold fakes in the part. Like, nobody's going to trust you, right? It's the same thing here. I just feel like there's something fishy going on with this situation, and I know for a fact I'm not the only one that thinks this. So, like I said, I'm not going to ramble on too much. It just seems a little bit weird to me. I will say, though, it is funny that there have been proper fighter jet pilots that have been freaking out over kids' balloons and stormtrooper balloons. That is kind of funny to me, to the point where they fired, as that guy said, a $500,000 missile at a potential kids' balloon. I don't know. That's kind of funny to me. But yeah, I don't know. This whole thing seems a little bit fishy. If you're into this UAP space, nothing they've released has been surprising. And I don't like the fact that they're blatantly releasing clips of balloons, which discredits everything else they're releasing. So if you've got some comments, if you think I'm talking shit, let me know. If you think the balloons are fake, let me know. If you think they're real, let me know. But that's it. Done.